This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy to see if you could save when you bundle your home and auto policies. Try it at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
I had a very Robert morning, which also sounds the name of like an old Scottish poet, right? Robert Morning. Anyway, I went to Whole Foods.
I don't go to Whole Foods.
They said it's sold out. To the sniper girl. That's what I said when I was there. I'm as big as the whole world. That's what the girl behind the counter said. She said, at this rate, you'll be dead. So just cue the sniper girl. That's right. We are back with new lyrics for the theme. It's going to be the whole lyrics for the theme song in 2026. But per usual, I have my bestie in Resty here with me, Mr. Roberto Mata. Hello, Robert.
Hey, Joe. What's Resty?
I don't know. I had to think of a rhyme with bestie right away. But I was talking to Jay Ellis on the way over here. My way to Whole Foods. I went to Whole Foods to take advantage of their family meal deal, and I don't know what the fuck happened in Bragg, California yesterday, but they literally bought everything at the Whole Foods. The case was sold out. She said they left us with nothing, and we're having to make it from scratch. So it was all pointless. Anyway, I was talking to Jay on the way over there, and I said, you know what? Usually Robert and I, when we text messages, usually just for like very practical, like logistical reasons. We don't really text, but we had quite the text conversation yesterday, and I enjoyed it.
Oh, I was in a social mood. I had just picked my college roommate / longtime best friend from the airport, and we walked like 3 miles after, just like gabbing about everything, and then he left for the evening, and then that's when I was texting. So I was just already on a let's just talk kind of space.
Yeah. And what's funny is, per usual, I'll be surprising Robert with our topics today, even though not really, I don't think they're much of a surprise. And because it's stuff we've talked about and all that nonsense. But Robert, before we do any of that, how the hell are you?
I'm a swimming, I'm also, you in our text message thread, and also I think in previous ones also suggested that some allegations were made against me in the variety of shows that you host. And I'm not sure which ones I'm supposed to respond to.
You can respond to any allegations you want.
Well, was it you saying that Christian and I would have a conniption about over 30s being old? Because I already addressed that last week.
We addressed that last
quite
week.
Directly, right?
And then will you confirm? Will you confirm that, like, right after we recorded RulaskaThoughts, Christian called us, and I brought him in on the mixer. It wasn't recorded, but he was on the mixer, and the first thing he said was, "Bitch, 30 isn't old."
I do think that happened. Yeah, I don't. Okay. I also have been just cackling internally at the Tweedledum and Tweedledee that you've turned me and Christian into.
How so?
Whenever you need a punching bag about silly little gay boys, you'll just immediately refer to me and Christian, which I find just hilarious, aligning us.
You guys aren't silly little gay boys?
We're definitely silly little gay boys, but not entirely in the way that you describe it. And also, we're not secretly hanging out and intentionally not inviting you places.
I don't know. Sometimes I'm with you guys, and I'll be like, all right, bye.
Well, that is how someone is supposed to leave a social engagement, yes.
And then I'll talk to you guys later. Like, oh, remember afterwards we went to smoke? I'm like, you went to go smoke? And they're like, no, that's the name of the new club over in Atwater. Smoke. Wait, why wasn't I invited?
That you say that. It's so funny that you say that now, because remember at the holiday dinner, Christian and I both talked about and invited you to, if we were going to go to that
I don't remember
the doll party
yeah.
in West Hollywood.
I don't remember being invited
I'm not
to
really
it.
doing that at the moment.
I don't remember being invited to that.
We invited you to it. And Jay and John Paul and whoever else wanted to come.
Can you imagine?
Christian ended up not going, and I also ended up not going.
Where did Christian go?
I think home.
Oh.
Yeah. And then there was another allegation that I was not sure whether or not to be offended, but Lori said that I look like Athena Love Dion.
Okay, just remember, I don't want to get into it here on the show. Another person that she said looked like somebody. I wouldn't trust anything Lori says in terms of people who look like somebody. I don't want to get into it here because this is a publicly available show. But she said that a person that we all know looked, and I'll just say generously, this person is average looking, right? That this person looked exactly like a person that is widely known as probably one of the most attractive men on the planet, right?
Okay.
And she said that with her full chest. So I wouldn't take any kind of comparisons that Lori says to heart.
Well, nothing was taken to heart. I was just kind of finding it amusing.
I think you guys are both brown.
We do have the same skin color, and we both have dark eyebrows. That's what I can see. Yeah.
We
don't look unalike.
Athena looks like a POC version of Q to me. That's what I see with hair.
Oh, God, I'd love to never talk about Q again.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, I have to.
Yeah, keep that to yourself.
But anything else going on that we should know about?
No, it's the standard Drag Race stuff, really. Or New Year's stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about all of that today. We have voicemails to play. But before we do, patreon.com is the place to be. So many, I don't know what you thought, Robert, but I actually thought our episode of Recap this week was very good. I even texted you, I put everything out there already on Recap. I don't know what I'm going to say on Rulaska Thoughts. I do have things to talk about, but I don't know what I'm going to say on Rulaska Thoughts. Because I thought it was so good. That's only available on Patreon. Or a week later if you're a free member of Patreon, which I really want to promote that. That's what I'm going to promote right now. I'm not going to try and say go spend $5 a month and get the show early, no commercials. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say spend $10 a month and get executive tier and get Just Between Us Girls. Not going to waste my time. What I'm going to say is download the Patreon app, sign up as a free member on Afterthought Media. There's a ton of free content already there. So boom, forget the show. A ton of free content for the free members. And then you get the recap, the full recap, the Friday after the show. For free. It's not going to be in the public feed for a while. You get it a week later. So before the next episode even drops, you can listen to it. Do that. Now with that, let's take a break. And when we come back, we are going to talk about, we have voicemails, Drag Race, gay pop culture, a lot we're going to talk about. We'll be back right after this. We are back. Robert Mata, last I spoke to you, you had not listened to the podcast and you had not watched the episode. Has all that been taken care of?
All of the chores are complete, Mother.
All the chores have been completed. So, this is my fourth show related to RuPaul's Drag Race that I'm doing. I'm not going to count Just Between Us Girls. This is my third show related to RuPaul's Drag Race that I'm doing. I've already given my thoughts everywhere that I can. What's your big takeaway from this episode? What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are that I began this season with an optimistic / if not neutral perspective on the queens, and that's still the case. This episode has reminded me how much I dislike the challenges on Modern Drag Race, namely the girl groups challenge. I've always hated it. The songs are so bad that gives me that kind of feeling of secondhand embarrassment just watching them have to flop around to the kind of like badly produced songs that they do. And if we're supposed to be uplifting and aggrandizing these queens as either grand dames or role models in the community, why are we embarrassing them by making them dance monkey dance to such foolish bullshit? Mm-hmm. It only serves to really lessen my opinion of how talented these people are supposed to be.
You know, I've said this on a bunch of other podcasts, and I'll say it again. Look, I'm not saying we should give this person a job, but it does remind you how good Lucian Piani was at taking a style and having it remind you of the style or even a particular song, but still be a catchy tune in its own right. And still be campy, still be fun, and you would be singing it the next day, you know? And Leland was halfway there. I don't know why. I haven't seen him in a while either. I don't know if he's now storming the Capitol or what he's doing. But this new guy, I don't know if, I think, you know, I don't know. I see what you're saying. I still think that it was the instructions were to make it intentionally open to interpretation to sort of catch the queens. But that's my take.
Why make everything so mediocre?
Because I think, you know, we've said this before. I think they've essentially lost the plot. You know? I think it's one of these cycles where they're not putting a lot of effort in, so people are losing interest, but they're not putting a lot of effort in because they can feel that people are losing interest.
Okay. I mean, so that's a self-defeating, self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, but I told you too, there's this other aspect that it's human nature and it's impossible to solve, in that, you know, it's been essentially, for the most part, the same team since the beginning, right? So we're 18 years in. But in terms of the last time they had a big crew and production shakeup was in season 7. So now we're looking at 11 years that most of these people have been with the show. And I think, unfortunately, they need to do another shakeup and bring in fresh blood. As funny is, as much as I'm a fan of seasoned queens on the show, I do think we need to bring in some young, fresh talent behind the scenes, coming up with the challenges, coming up with people who love Drag Race, who can now take it the next step forward. I think we're in an SNL Lauren Michaels situation. He's never going to give up, you know, and it's not until he does that we see what happens on SNL.
It's funny that you bring up SNL specifically because next week's challenge is yet again, despite universal public groaning, RDR Live.
Yeah, and it's so funny because that's the thing too, is this is the laziness. They just rely on former challenges. It used to be in peak Drag Race that the only repeat challenge we really got was Snatch Game.
And the ball.
And now it seems like almost every episode is an episode that harkens back to a previous challenge. And I don't mind the unconventional design challenge too. That's 3 episodes right there. But it seems now there's RDR Live, and there's a girl group challenge, and there's I don't know. I'm sure the fans can tell us what the other ones are, but they're reusing these challenges. You know, the roast that they hide in some way. You know, so that's why I'm saying we need to bring in fresh blood that can think up new challenges. It can take the show to the next level because it's plateaued. I was actually thinking, I was like, oh, is Ru going to end this on the 20th anniversary, 25th anniversary? Because 25 years in, we're going to have, she's going to be pushing 70, you know? And I was like, but you know what the problem is? At 25 years, it's almost like The Simpsons. They can never stop. It's like the Winchester Mansion of shows, you know? And so maybe in a weird kind of way, I do look forward to RuPaul stepping down and someone else taking the reins and a new crew coming in and reviving the show. I don't know. I don't know what happens with this show.
But does RuPaul claim responsibility over the fact that there's a girl group challenge every season? I feel like on the panel this week, she was as deeply unenthused as I was.
I think she's just doing too much. Have you seen this controversy? I'm going to relate it to this. Have you seen this controversy about this tendernism?
No.
Okay. So on TikTok, there is this drama brewing because there's a restaurant, a barbecue joint out in Murrieta, California. I don't even know what the name of the restaurant is. The Smokehouse, I think, or something like that, right? And it got popular, went viral because of people had this perception that the man in the videos was the chef / owner of this barbecue joint. And he's just sort of this old black man that reminds you of someone's like black uncle. I think they even call him Unc, right? And he would go on there and he would be, selling this product and people really liked it. Got very popular, went viral, and he coined this term tendernism about how tender the meat was. And look, it's falling off the bone, blah, 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 blah. So then it's one of these things where like Keith Lee seems like do you know who this Keith Lee is?
No, I haven't the foggiest.
Keith Lee is this TikTok food blogger. He's what's so funny?
Is that a well-known thing?
Yeah, he's very famous. He's super famous.
You said like do you know who Lars von Trier is? And I'm like, well, yeah, but
no, he's like super famous, and he goes to these food places, and he's so famous, and that's part of the story. He's so famous that he doesn't even go into the restaurants. He has his like wife or some representative go in there, buy the food, take it to the car, and he tries it. And if he enjoys it, he'll come in and he'll give money to people. What's funny is he seems like he seems like the nicest, most genuine person ever, but there's always controversy that follows in his wake. It has nothing to do with him, but greedy ass people do follow in his wake, right?
Okay.
And so in the Mr. Tendernism case, he goes to Mr. Tendernism because he's so popular, tries the food, and he gives it for the most part a decent review. He doesn't think it's as tender as it shows on the video, right? But he's like, oh, this is good. That's okay, blah, 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 blah. Then he goes inside. He wants to meet Mr. Tendernism, right? Because what he's going to do is he's going to give $1,000 to the restaurant. He's going to buy the next $1,000 worth of food for everybody who comes in, right?
Cool. The next 10 people get to eat.
I know, seriously.
Free.
Then he wants to give $4,000 to Mr. Tendernism as a tip. Okay.
The man himself.
The man's there too. But when Keith Lee goes up to him, I don't know if they recognize him or not. He has security. And security's like, no, you can't get next to Mr. Tendernism. So Keith Lee's like, oh, all right, and leaves, and then gives the $4,000 out to people out in the streets or something, right? Leaves. Goes on vacation. Well, then, this is when everything starts to fall apart for Mr. Tendernism. Because then, next thing you know, we find out Mr. Tendernism isn't the owner or the chef. He's just some random old black man that they've been using to sell this product because the actual owner, some white guy, makes a TikTok video with Mr. Tendernism sitting right next to him, never saying a word in this video. And the white guy is like, Keith Lee, we didn't know it was him. If we would have known it was him, we would have, first of all, he was mad that he didn't get the review that he wanted, right? He's like, if Keith Lee would have told us that he was coming, then we would have made sure he had food that really showed who we were, which everybody was like, well, no, that's exactly the fucking point, asshole, of why he does that, right? And then two,
he's the Marsha of the restaurant.
Yeah. And then two, he's like, yeah, we would have taken the $4,000, but it's like it was for Mr. Tendernism. And then he said, I've been DMing Keith Lee and he's in response. And then he's mad at Keith Lee and everyone's like, what? Like it's very weird. Anyway, what's then come out, people are like, what's the relationship here between the owner and Mr. Tendernism? Because now it's the owner in all the videos, and Mr. Tendernism just there as like a side character, which people are not comfortable with that. And then it's coming out that they've been doing like these shady ass things to make the meat seem tender on the videos. And
of course.
Yeah, so everything's just falling apart for it's literally the tendernism and Mr. Tendernism is falling apart all around them, right? And the reason I bring all this up is this RuPaul, I think, has become Mr. Tendernism.
Just the face?
Just the face, because they keep her too busy. Remember the days when RuPaul would be like, I chose every single one of you. I was in all the casting sessions. I saw every single person, blah, blah, blah. I genuinely believe in the early days she did. You know? Do you think she's looking at any single fucking casting tape now? They have her flying all over the world. She's in the UK. She's doing US. That's all she does now, right? Is UK and US?
And the multiple All-Star seasons.
Yeah, and the global All-Stars, this All-Stars, that All-Stars, Kaka All-Stars, any All-Stars, right?
Kaka All-Stars.
Yeah, it's weird. It's coming out next year.
I believe it was called All-Stars 8 and All-Stars 9.
So she's doing all the All-Stars, okay? And this she's tired. She's in her 60s, right? And that's why I think she doesn't care anymore. She doesn't care.
Even if she wasn't in her 60s, still at the level of being the brand, why would she be reviewing Drag Race submission videos number 14 from a queen in like bumfuck, I don't know, Idaho? Who cares? Why is RuPaul spending 20 minutes watching that poorly cut together piece of film?
Exactly. So I'm saying is it like honestly, I think the way, but you know how it is. These corporate people don't think this way. I think the way you solve the problem is you just go back to the original. There's one flagship season with RuPaul on it. Keep the international versions because, like I've always said, the international versions are not meant for the U.S. If you want to watch it from the U.S., fine, but it's not meant for you. It's meant for Spain or it's meant for, Australia or whoever, right? And keep RuPaul on the main season. I think they should do, and I'm being generous, All-Stars every other year. And I really think it should be every 3 years, right? But okay, I'll say every other year, do All-Stars. And that's what they should do. And that's it, right? I would even say, well, we want to have it show on twice a year, right? Okay, then do 2 flagship seasons a year. Okay? And then...
really?
Okay,
you want to see more of whoever hasn't been cast for this show yet?
Okay, then you know what? You're right. Then one flagship show a year. It ends in April. We don't see you again unless it's every other year. Unless it's an odd number year, we don't see you again unless it's All-Stars. That's what I'm saying. Go back. If you go back to that, people get excited again. It'll be like everyone over at 11 watching Valentina not take the mask off.
That was Flaming Saddles at the time, girl.
Can't keep track of all these gay bars. Anyway,
that's okay. I do it for you.
Thank you. Anyway, any other thoughts there?
I definitely am team people aren't as excited. It doesn't feel like an event. It feels very rote at this point in time. I do, of course, know that there are plenty of undiscovered superstars who haven't made it to Drag Race yet, but I don't think doubling the number of queens is going to give us a higher quality of entertainment. I think we'll probably get, unfortunately, a lot of Mandy Mangos, who gives me a lot of also secondhand embarrassment watching her on TV do far too much. Mm-hmm. Which I know the song was called that, but it just... I think I just really dislike girl groups conceptually, and even like the most lauded one, Bing Bang Bong, I hated it a lot. So
I like the first one. The UK.
I just constantly
what was the first
don't
UK
live. That was I Want to Break Up.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I confess I hated it then too. Quite frankly,
I like that
I just don't vibe with girl groups. And of course, Nathan brought up a good point on recap that many of these girls have done.
Wait,
don't be nasty.
Wait, hold on here. I think I have something for that. Is it this? No. I thought I had like a da-da. Anyway, go ahead.
That a lot of these girls have done in bars and clubs a number of hokey pokey like girl group challenges, so to speak, just to open and close the drag night for whatever random Friday, Thursday, whatever. So I get that it's relevant to the career of a drag queen to do these girl group numbers. I just can't pretend that any of them have ever been enjoyable to me. I'm just talking about my personal taste.
You know what I think I'm going to have to do is I'm going to need to find a new host for All Stars this year. Because Taylor's already said he doesn't want to do it anymore. Taylor's not even RuPaul's age and Taylor's tired. Right? So I think I need to start scouting for new talent. I don't know why you said going to drag shows. Maybe I got to go to more drag shows, not see that, but also see like what's out there. Find new gay people who can be good on mic and be funny and are in LA.
Yes, what you need to do is go to a viewing party, grab a drink, and saunter around it and listen to what gays are saying and forcing their friends to hear, and then provide them with the golden ticket opportunity to take those opinions and make some use of it rather than shouting them at a TV screen.
Because they're like, why is that old fat Mexican guy just hanging around us? Anyway, let's move on. Let's move on. We have a voicemail that asks us a question about Drag Race, but you know, this isn't the rumor mill. So I went to the AI music that created the rumor mill jingle for the voicemail, and I had it make 2 examples. I both hate and love both of them, and they're equal parts love and hate. All right, but let's vote on which one between. We'll decide, me and you, Robert, on which one we like better. Here's the first one. Here we go.
Okay.
Dum RulaskaThoughts. Joe and Robert laugh a lot. Did you go to Stanford? I think not. Think you got it? Take your shot right here on RulaskaThoughts.
Okay, so that's one option. Here's the next one.
Dum RulaskaThoughts. Joe and Robert laugh a lot. Did you go to Stanford? I think not. Think you got it? Take your shot right here on RulaskaThoughts.
See, this one has it for me, except for that terrible ending.
Well, the reverb on the "Did you go to Stanford?" that was a bit more noticeable in the second one. To be clear, I loathe them both, like completely despise it. But
Why?
That's also just that it sounds like it's supposed to be the 5th part of the Leftovers disco number.
Here's the voicemail. Here we go. Ready? It's from Steven. Okay? Steven.
All right.
Steven. Here we go. Steven.
Hello, I'm not sure if you're still taking calls for your midweek show.
No. Anyway, so going...
I wanted to call in with a question, specifically around the ethical consumption of Drag Race. I just can't get...
Now, before, 'cause I will say he doesn't explain why he feels this. What do you think the problem... And there's no answer in this voicemail. What would be his ethical problem with the consumption of Drag Race? What do you think it is, Robert?
I think he wants to make sure that the queens are grass-fed and free range.
All right,
And
let's see
that's
what...
a fair question.
We'll hear the rest of the voicemail.
Get behind this show anymore for a variety of reasons, but I still want to keep tabs on it because it used to be my favorite show. So I wanted to hear from you guys. What do you think is the best way to ethically consume Drag Race? Do I just need to go down to the bar and watch it as it airs? Should I just listen to the podcast? Should I torrent the show? Maybe torrent the podcast? Anyways, thanks for keeping the recap going and keeping us informed on Drag Race, even if we don't want to watch the show anymore.
What is it?
Who's seeding the podcast?
Yeah.
I live.
Can you imagine you have to download this podcast?
Imagine going on the Pirate Bay to like I want RulaskaThoughts.
Yeah.
Like someone fucking upload it. God damn it.
I need Just Between Us Girls. Anyone got Just Between Us Girls?
I'm
hear about.
specifically missing All Stars 8 episode 4's Just Between Us Girls. Does anyone have it?
Yeah.
Please.
Anyone, the one where Nathan talked about the guy tickling his feet and saying he has calluses or what? I don't know what happened in that episode. It was something crazy. But
What?
you didn't listen to Just Between Us Girls last week?
I thought I did, but I don't remember calluses being tickled, because now I'm wondering, can one get tickled through a callus?
They weren't tickled. Like I mixed the two stories. He hooked up with a guy on Grindr who is into tickling, right?
Absolutely not.
And
Hell the fuck no.
Oh, I think I talked about this. Yeah. And Nathan was having sex with him. I think he did tickle Nathan's feet. And Nathan was like, "Oh, are you into something?" Question. And the guy was like, "Yeah, it's fine if your feet weren't so calloused or something. Imagine how hot it would be if your feet weren't so calloused or something."
How rude.
I know, it was very rude. So Nathan went and got a pedicure. It's been this whole thing.
A pedicure on the Disney cruise?
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what he blamed it on, him being at Disney all the time. I'm like, oh, who can, I can't get into this. Just Between Us Girls, patreon.com/Afterthought Media executive tier. That's where I get into it.
See you on the Pirate Bay.
See you in the Pirate. Yeah, go torrent Just Between Us Girls. So let's answer his question. Is there an ethical way? 'Cause I think there's two different questions. I don't know why he can't ethically consume Drag Race.
I can come up with a number of answers,
Do
actually.
you think he means how they've... This is my guess now. How they have... You give your answer, because I'm phlegmy again. I don't know what it is.
Okay, work. My best guess, and I have, like I said, several different answers, is that the association with Paramount has gotten to be such a hot button issue that really no one wants to be a part of the right-wing propaganda machine that it's become. And Drag Race being on that platform has become problematic to some people who really feel like they need to stand by their values and eschew Paramount Plus.
I thought, and it's kind of related to you, I thought what he meant was the way that Drag Race has, this is actually from a financial perspective, not a bad notion, has made it so difficult to watch the show that he's not like, you have to subscribe to something that has MTV, or you have to subscribe to Paramount Plus, or you have to subscribe to Wow Presents Plus. Like they're nickel and diming the people, so to speak. So now he's not going to have any part of it whatsoever.
Sure, but I don't know if that really goes into ethical
But do you
as
think
much.
that, I'm not saying anything against Steven, I don't know what Steven's story is, but do you think he's really concerned with Paramount's ethically questionable practice of trying to take over Warner Brothers Discovery?
I think it's probably on a long list of grievances. They tried the hostile takeover, but they failed.
Now they're threatening to do a board war or something like that. Did you see this?
I have not seen that. No,
Yeah,
I haven't
today.
been
Came out today.
reading the trades yet. Mm-hmm. I mean, another point that it's probably pointing towards ethics and Drag Race is that just the more or less exploitation of the queens is just brief cannon fodder for a rabid audience that the production team doesn't really defend them against in any way, apart from making them sing songs about everyone say love and empower yourself and yay, being queer is so great. You know, I think people have talked a lot about that, about how they find it problematic that this reality TV show does not protect the girls a little bit more actively.
So, okay, so now we've established that. How do you think is the best way for him to ethically consume the show, if he does consume the show?
I mean, if you don't want a paper trail, and by paper I mean money trail, direct consumption of the show, then yes, going to a bar is a mental loophole that one can take and say, well, I just viewed it passively or actively, but I didn't contribute a cent to the actual production of it. A similar question, though, would be if someone's boycotting Harry Potter and they just happen to go to a Harry Potter themed speakeasy, they're supporting the Harry Potter brand still by supporting the third-party pop-ups that surround it. So it might not be a direct one-to-one money's going into their pockets, but it's still upholding the actual product itself. Right?
I see what you're saying, but then at what point does the product itself become bigger than the person who created it? So in other words, where the zeitgeist, and I don't know if I know how I'm using the word, but I don't know if you can use it as I'm anthropomorphizing the zeitgeist. If the zeitgeist now collectively just owns Harry Potter and J.K. Rowling has lost her right to it, and so to speak, maybe not financially, but they've adopted it as their own. Same thing with Star Wars, you know. At what point has George Lucas lost his baby to the bigger population?
I mean, I have several different answers for that also, most of which are legal considerations, but I'd say that they're not, because most people who are boycotting something are doing so to take a stand in one fashion or another. So in that case, if you're so outraged by the practices of J.K. Rowling as one should be, or Paramount Plus as one should be, or what have you, then how are you also able to use the age-old phrase, have your cake and eat it too, by feeling morally superior above those who are consuming it, but also still being able to engage with the entertainment that you clearly still have affection for? These are questions I ask myself, so I'm not in any way coming out against Steven or saying that he's wrong for considering it, because I've thought about it.
Well, I would say, I think the answer I agree with. I think you go to, and hopefully it's like a locally owned, like mom and pop gay bar. Like it's not like I don't know if you were like, I'm going to go to the Abbey and support the Abbey, which I guess the Abbey is a locally owned gay bar, but you know what I mean? It's like a smaller gay bar, you know, and support that locally. Like Precinct here in LA is a good example where they've been struggling, you know, and you support them there. And then also, aren't we supposed to do a trivia night, by the way? What happened with that?
It has not materialized. I thought Jay was leading the charge on that.
Yeah, I just talked to him that I should have asked him. And then also I imagine, I don't go to a lot of Drag Race viewing parties, but I imagine there's a local girl or two there and you can tip them and it goes into their pocket, you know?
Less than there used to be, but yes.
Yeah. And so I think going to a gay bar when you can to ethically, I don't know if torrenting's the answer. And if you're going from an ethical, if you're going from an ethical standpoint.
Well, I'm doing a cross-benefit analysis of ethical reasoning, and my perspective is that, again, referring to in terms of money flow, we can all pretty much agree that queer nightlife has been struggling. And so if you're putting money into the bar by going and, you know, tipping your bartenders, tipping your local girls, as you said, actively contributing to keeping the scene alive, then I think that outweighs the pennies that would be in Paramount Plus or whoever else's pockets that you would feel, queasy about.
But then this gets to a bigger thing. We're really discussing this here. Because even though they get no financial stake in it, I do feel that the show is written actually strangely for group watchings, rather more so than the individual watching it. Does that make sense? Like a lot of the content, especially a girl group challenge, a ball challenge, the ones that don't require as much listening, you know, I feel those are specifically written with the idea of them being watched in either a gay bar or someone's house with a bunch of friends. You know, I mean, I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
I think the show made a very explicit encouragement to that kind of viewing activity. I think it was the season 5 finale, maybe, and 10 years ago. So, but I think they're luckily. I wouldn't say that Drag Race is out of touch with who consumes their product and how they do so. They're just out of touch with what we want to actually see, clearly. But, I mean, drag is primarily an audience-based art form. Yeah, you can do it alone in your room, like Darlene Mitchell said, but she's receiving a lot more queer joy and euphoria, she said, by doing it socially and with a community now. Mm-hmm. Granted, I'm like, girl, it's been 3 days. How are you having a whole moment about this? But regardless, she's going to smile and show those teeth one way or another. Yes, Drag Race is meant to be seen as a communal experience. And I think it is intentionally filmed that way.
And I think it's that should help Steven a little bit with feeling a little better, that he's taking part in a bigger drag race community thing. You know, I also want to say I got another voice memo at speakpipe.com/afterthought media, and I encourage you guys to use it so that I'll work on this theme. As Robert will attest, I was working on it even minutes into recording when we were supposed to be recording. So I'll try and come up with a better version. But I did get another nice message from a guy named Pete, right? And it was really about, the voice message had nothing really to do with the show. It was about a technical thing that he wanted to talk about. But in it, he paid me a huge compliment, okay? And it was very flattering, very nice voicemail. And I wanted to say, Pete, that voicemail, because, you know, we say this all the time, you know, like, oh, thank you. But actually, as Robert knows, I've been feeling I'm in a little bit of I wouldn't say a creator slump in that I don't have any ideas, but more like feeling kind of down, right? And his voicemail really picked me up. So I wanted to thank Pete personally on the air for that voice memo. It was, and also for those of you who think, oh, Joe doesn't care if I send in amazing, flattering voice memo. No, they mean a lot to me. Just like yesterday I was talking to this Robert, and Robert, I don't want to get into it for reasons I can explain off the air. But someone sent Robert an indecent proposal, and he was so not even flattered. Like, it was just like, it's a given. Like,
We weren't even... Yeah, sure. Okay. I've been on gay apps for quite some time now. Nothing phases me, you know?
Yeah. All right. Well, I was gonna actually. What's funny is that, and we're right at the time, and I do have to go. But I had planned to talk about. I'm gonna give us a little quick shots here, and we can talk it out really quickly.
Sure.
I'm not gonna get into the Matt Rogers thing, even though I planned to do it today. That was gonna be a big chunk of it, and I'm not gonna get into it because, I mean, you know what? I think wisely so. But I will say that Ginger Minge. People have been saying, when are you going to weigh in on Ginger Minge? And it's one of these things that every time I think, okay, now it's time, some new development happens. I'm like, oh, now I got to fold that into the mix. And now I just wonder if that ship has sailed, you know? And so, but I will say, I was watching a video of Roxy at Roscoe's talking about it. And I forgot about it's funny. It's one of these things now when I hear Ginger Minge lies, I'm like, how are we barely clocking this? Maybe the Queens clocked it internally, but how did it barely hit? Like, Roxy was reminding me about when Ginger Minge, and I did hear Ginger tell this story, was on the set of Hocus Pocus, and Bette Midler saw her, and just the first thing she said to her was, she screamed, "You were robbed." Right? And it's
on season 7 or All Star 6?
I don't think Ginger specified. Specified. But she screamed, "You were robbed," and that was her first interaction with Bette Midler. And I was like, these lies. And Roxy's point, which is accurate, is like, girl, you are very accomplished. You deserve your win. You have a win. You have the crown. You know, you are a very accomplished, very talented queen. You can't take that away from you. And she's like, why are you doing all this? Like, it's so weird.
Because she can.
Oh, that's the wrong show. This one. All right, Robert, what do you got going on over the next week?
I'm going to be thinking about how I can spin next week's likely RDR Live fiasco into something compelling.
You haven't even seen the episode yet.
I know, but it's just, I have seen, 3 go-arounds for this concept, and every time has gotten more grating than the last. But it somehow never manages to cross over into such a true disaster that it, becomes deeply entertaining.
Yeah.
I would love that kind of mess. Like Didi Fuego. I miss the girl.
We will see. It's one of these. You miss Didi Fuego?
Well, the whole Beverly Hills of Mexico thing was definitely fucking sending me. And I get that, your talent can't be having an oversized jaw, but I lived.
I don't know. You know, I go into each episode hoping for the best, so I don't really have any preconceived notions for RDR Live. I really don't.
Next week when you're going to be like, I always knew this was going to be bad. I hate this every season.
I've
this
never
is
said
the worst
anything
shit.
like that.
It reminds me of this time I saw Naisha Lopez at the season 9 finale.
Oh, she sat right in front of me. She's so tiny, though. She's had that poo look on her face. You know what's so funny? At the time of the season 9 finale, I didn't think anything of it. And there's so many stories. No, that was a 11 finale when I was sitting in front of some little black boy who's related to
Silky
Nutmeg Ganache. But the season 9 finale, I just happened to be, because I wanted to I thought it was going to be like a traditional season. I was going to bolt. And so I sat in this area that was right by the exit, but that's also where the producers and stuff were sitting. And so I got to hear all their tea and what, and I heard a genuine reaction that they had to Sasha's reveal. They were just as gagged as everybody else. And also, like,
so they don't run any rehearsal?
They were really surprised. I don't know. They were like, oh my God, did you see that? Blah, 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 blah.
Hey, Sal.
Hank, what's going on? We haven't worked a case in years.
I just bought my car at Carvana, and it was so easy. Too easy.
Think something's up?
You tell me. They got thousands of options. Found a great car at a great price. And it got delivered the next day.
It sounds like Carvana just makes it easy to buy your car, Hank.
Yeah, you're right. Case closed.
Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.